Hello and welcome to the video. Today I'm doing something a little different. This is something I've been doing to just improve my overall game recently. I do a normal round where I throw 3 shots on each hole, one normal, one forehand, and one with just a putter for the whole hole. This is my regular shot on this one. This is just a simple hyzer, and I missed my line a bit here, really. I was looking to throw it a little bit straighter and a little bit higher to get the fade, so that sort of left me like edge of circle, which is way further away than I want to be on this hole. Then onto the forehand. I've been practicing these a lot in the field recently, but not really utilizing them on the course a lot, so this style of round where I get to throw on every hole is really good practice. And then this is just a lunar shot with my straight to overstable lunar. I'll be throwing that one a lot. This is just my forehand up shot, so I left it nice and wide to the right, which gave me a good straight open approach in. Then I got a circle 2 bid after my putter tee shot, and I was very happy with this effort, but disappointed that it didn't go in. And then this is my circle edge putt from my regular drive, which somehow catches the top of the band and stays in, and then just cleaning up the other 2 for par. On to hole 2. For my regular disc, I'm throwing my most overstable lunar here, so just trying to go out to the right and then just sort of fade it underneath that tree canopy there, or just between the gap, which I've done well with that one. Then the forehand, there's a very narrow, very low ceiling forehand gap on the left hand side that's quite tough to hit. That's what I'm trying to do, but as a bit of a theme today, this just comes out right, fades really early, and from watching this back, I've now started to realize that actually my problem with the forehands is less so of a hyzer and more of a nose up, so I've been working on that recently. Now going to my slightly straighter lunar for my other one. As you can see, this one kind of flips up a little bit more, and therefore gets caught up in the sort of shrubs that are down there. That's my forehand up shot, nearly skipped it in off the hill. Then this is my putt from my putter drive, which was not really a very good effort at all. And then, from my regular drive in a really good spot, should be making this all day, and don't. Hole 3, just a straight to hyzer shot at about 375, so I'm just throwing a nuke, trying to get it to go flat for as long as possible, and then fade hard at the end. Very difficult shot for a forehand, but I completely shanked this into the one spot where you don't want to go, so that's not going to be great. And then I absolutely bombed on my straight lunar here, just flipped it up to flat perfectly. This is where my forehand ended up. Not a good spot at all, and really not a good approach shot for a forehand either. I have to throw a bit of an Annie turnover here because of the low canopy, which I played really, really nicely, actually. Simple approach shot from just outside C2 after my putter, which very happy with that. This is my birdie look after the nuke. So birdie on that hole is always really good. That's tapping in from the forehand approach, and then tapping in for the par after the putter approach as well. So good to get a birdie there. On to the next hole. I'm 2 under through 3 with my regular round and even on both, so happy with that. This is a forehand hole, pretty short but with an island, so I'm just trying to throw spike hyzer with my flippy raptor for my regular shot. It's a pretty good one. And then for the forehand shot, I have to go up to my more stable raptor, and I think this is actually a captain's raptor. Do almost exactly the same thing. Then the backhand, I hate this here, but I get a bit lucky through that tree and get into a okay spot. As you can see, I just made the island here. This path marks the island. And beautiful putt for the birdie. This is for birdie after the forehand, which I miss. And then I have a very similar look for the birdie with the regular shot, which I also threw with the forehand, which I chain out on the right-hand side as well. Okay, on to hole 5. I'm now 3 under in total. Going with the putter first this time. This is a very short par 4, so just trying to get out the middle, preferably down the left-hand side a little bit to have a wider angle in for the backhand shots, and then down the right-hand side to have a wider angle for the forehand shots. Do that nicely with the putter. Then I'm just throwing an onyx down here. Don't need to go full rip, so just trying to get this one straight to down the left side with a decent amount of distance. And then, as I said, for the forehand, trying to get this straight, but if anything, to the right-hand side so that I've got a better angle in for the next shot. Okay, so this is the forehand approach here, going with my flippy zone, which I actually flip over a little bit too much. Wasn't a very clean release. Standstill putter approach with after my putter drive. Just don't want to go long here as it will disappear down the hill. And then for my regular shot, I just throw a nice spike hyzer with the Zone OS here. Should have been 3 easy birdies really, but this forehand one left me a fairly tricky up the hill look, which I just put a horrendous putt on because of how steep the hill was. Next up, after my putter up shot, which I left quite a bit shorter than I wanted to, I then chain out again, but had a tap in with the last one. Definitely disappointed with the 2 pars there on that hole, but still 4 under through 5. Moving on to the next hole, which is hole 6. It's a very tricky par 3. It's almost impossible to get to the green, so for my regular one, I'm just going spike hyzer Zone OS again, throw it out to the right, get it into the mouth of the gap, and have a relatively easy approach shot. Then I do a similar thing with my putter shot with the Luna, get it to flip up a little bit more and get round the corner a bit more, which was really nice actually. Now, this is pretty much an impossible forehand, really. I tried to go for a bit of a turnover here, and really I should have just gone simple layup because I yank this, clips the tree, and then I'm left with basically the same shot again, which this is a really, really difficult shot. Got to hit like a panning forehand that turns the whole way down to the basket, which I execute beautifully and then hit the last overhanging limb and drop down. This is where you're meant to be. Just after the regular Zone OS backhand, I just have to throw a little flex forehand down there, which is perfect inside of inside bullseye. Then backhand approach, which is a little tricky, so I just throw it low, make sure it doesn't fade. Another one that's parked, and then chuck the little approach up for the bogey. On to hole 7. This is about 350 feet, something like that. I'm just trying to throw like a straight to understable fairway and just throw it dead straight and let it turn the whole way down. Used to throw an undertaker, but I lost it. So now I'm here with a passion, which is brand new to the bag. And I just yank it straight right out of bounds. So not good for that, especially after making a bogey on the previous hole with the forehand. So now I go up to my straight understable Zeus, which I haven't really thrown on this hole in a long time because it's a bit more disc than I need, but I just throw it gentle, throw it low, try to keep it nose down and get it to just gently fade right the whole way down, which does really nicely and stays on the hill that will give me a bogey look. Now with the putter, just trying to throw a similar sort of shape, but knowing that I won't get there. So throw a nice straight shot that just pans to the right the whole way down. And then the forehand. This is a really nice forehand hole if you have the power. I don't quite have the power yet. But throw a nice one down here, nice and flat, and just follows the shape of the hole beautifully. So my forehand actually outdrove my putter shot, which is nice. So this is just my simple little up shot after the putter drive. And then my upshot after the putter, just throwing a little zone, trying to not let it fade out too much, trying to land it flat on that hillside, which I do. Now, this is my circle 2 bid for bogey after the Zeus shot, after I threw out of bounds. Tricky putt here, because if I miss it, I will probably go out of bounds, but I make it, which is good. Great bogey save. Cleaning up after the zone approach, and then cleaning up after the putter approach. So a good result there in the end after the first wayward shot. On to hole 8 now. I'm only 2 under after making another bogey, but it was a very good bogey save. This is just a very short but narrow, low ceiling shot. So I'm throwing, for my putter one, which I'm throwing first, I'm just throwing a very flippy lunar, trying to throw it straight, get it to turn a little bit. Doesn't really turn, so just goes dead straight. Now, this is my preferred play on this hole. So this is for my forehand drive. I'm just going with my more overstable zone. Just try to throw it a little flex and get it to skip right at the end, which it doesn't skip. And then for my next one, I put a little bit more height behind it, gets through the gap, and is parked. So that's the way I like to play it. This was after my putter approach, yanked it, but still not too bad. This was after this is my forehand, after my forehand, so good effort. And then had the tap in after the regular approach. On to hole 9, the basket is just to the left in the trees there, in the sort of baby trees. So you got to throw a hyzer that lands sort of and skips left just at the right time. I throw a nice shot here, but I've thrown it too far and it's too high and it sails over the top of the basket, goes all the way down the hill into a terrible spot. So now I'm trying to throw a very similar shot with my most overstable lunar. Didn't think I'd have the distance to get there with this, but I threw this beautifully and it ends up right at the edge of circle 1, and this actually becomes my regular play on this hole now. Then I throw my nose up shank with the forehand, which actually gets lucky and leaves me a pretty simple zone OS approach, which I make a good job of. I then have my putt for birdie from the edge of circle after my putter one, which looks good, hits the front of the cage, rolls all the way down the bottom to the other drive, and I make 2 bogeys from there, so not great. Hole 10 is a little over 300 feet. The basket's right behind that tree up there, but it's super, super uphill, so it plays, I would say, probably 360, 370. So I'm trying to throw this low with a little bit of turn, and I just throw it too high, which is easy to do going up the hill, and so gets the distance, but just fades out early, nowhere near really. Tricky forehand hole for me. I don't have the power to get there really, but I'm just sort of trying to match the hill without burning it over. So trying to throw a little flat one out to the left and get it to sort of fade back at the end and make a really, really nice job of it. And then onto the putter, which is just a layup really, and comes out my hand a bit early and goes left, but no real problem. Leaves me a simple up shot, which I just put inside the bullseye. Then I have, this was really good result for my forehand inside circle 2. Not quite enough distance to get me there, but still really good. Not very good effort on the putt though. And then my other one, having faded out, just meant I had to do a little forehand flick up shot. On to hole 11, which is looking absolutely gorgeous today with this fog down in the valley. The basket's just up on the other side of the valley here, so it's just a pretty simple hyzer shot over the trees and bushes on the right. For my regular backhand shot, I'm just throwing a buzz OS. Throw it flat out there, get it to fade, and I almost aced this. It was beautiful. Tricky forehand because of that silver birch tree on the left hand side, so I'm sort of just trying to throw this almost so that it lands underneath it and then can skip towards the basket, but didn't fade in time, was a little bit too much flip up and clips the tree. And then the putter one, pretty simple one really. Just try to throw the same line as the Buzz OS, but with a little bit less power really. Which I do, but I didn't give it quite enough height, and it drops and it just clips the bushes just short there. Long circle 2 putt after my forehand, not a very good effort really. And then this is after the putter. I've got a little straddle out. If I'd thrown it a little bit higher, I would have been able to get over this bush that I'm having to straddle around. And then this is after the Buzz OS, inside circle 1. Nice look for the birdie. On to hole 12, looking gorgeous with the fog down the bottom of the hill again. So for my regular disc, I'm just throwing a zone out here, just going to try and get it out to the right, fading back. Pretty simple shot really. Do it exactly as I need to. Leave it absolutely parked, I think. Then now going to the Luna, my putter shot, I yanked this a little bit to the right, so it just stays a little bit too straight, unfortunately. And then this is basically an impossible forehand hole because it's just a simple righty hyzer really. So I tried to throw a buzz on some anhyzer, but I started at the basket when I really needed to start it out to the right. And then that leaves me in these trees with a very tricky low ceiling anhyzer approach, which I clip the trees and leaves me this sort of edge of circle putt for par, which put a really nice putt on dead center. And then this is a stunning foggy look here, but this is my birdie putt after my putter drive, which I make a good effort of, but ultimately don't make. And then this is where the light's really fading, so I managed to throw these tee shots, but then after that, just not able to see anything on the camera anymore. But hope you enjoyed watching this. Sorry I didn't manage to get a full round in or really sort of, and see what scores I could shoot. But this is what I'm doing for practice all the time, so I'll probably film another one of these soon. And it's been giving me a really good chance to work on my putter throws, which is a really important part of the game, I would say, getting me really confident with these straight to overstable Lunas that I can put some power behind, and getting me a lot more confidence with my forehand. I know in this video today they were pretty much all nose up and terrible, but I've now started to work on that nose angle a bit after filming this round and seeing that, and so there's progress to be made there. But thanks a lot for watching, and if you liked it, please hit the like button and subscribe to see more of this.